Welcome back, everyone, to Montgomery County's Engage at Home. Today we have Jim McClelland. Jim works with Montgomery County's Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you, Lily. Glad to be here. The Office of Emergency Management and Homeland Security helps the county to respond to emergencies that happen throughout the county. And we have been very active in the response to COVID, among other things. But we also, one of our main objectives is to help the residents and visitors to Montgomery County to be safe while they're here. So I'm happy to be here to share some thoughts with you.
Excellent. And we're really glad you're here. We're coming up to a busy time of the year. And for most of us, we have not been out and about driving, and particularly not out and about going for long distances. So one of the things I really would love you to share with our viewers is really a little bit about what you have as tips and advice for folk as they get out and about. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And you're right. This has been a long time since we've been able to get together with family and friends. And so I know a lot of us are anxious to get out there and start visiting again. And I think that's wonderful. But there's some things that, some tips that we've got for driving during the holiday season. And this isn't really just for older drivers. It's for anyone who's going to be getting out on the road during this time. So I've got a few different categories. The first thing I'll call pre-drive preparations, the things that you should be doing before you head out on the road. One is to plan your drive in advance. Be familiar with the route you're going to be taking. If you have GPS or navigation tools like Google Maps or Waze on your phone, that's an excellent way to have constant updates on your route provided for you. Some cars have a built-in navigation system. That's another excellent way, but it minimizes the chances of you're getting lost, and it makes it easier for you to get back en route if you do get lost. The next thing is make sure your phone is fully charged. And if you have an in-car charger, leave it plugged in the whole time you're riding, because it'll make sure that it's available not only for the driving instructions, but also fully charged in case you have an emergency and need to make a phone call. Perform a car safety check before you head out. There's some simple things to check just to make sure your car is road ready. Check the tire inflation, engine oil, check the windshield washer fluid and windshield wiper blades. Check your headlights, brake and tail lights, turn signals, make sure they're all functioning as they should. And make sure you have a full tank of gas. You don't want to wind up at the side of the road with an empty tank. Also, we recommend having a go kit in your car before you travel. And this is really just some emergency supplies to have on hand while you're traveling. Have a flashlight with extra batteries, windshield ice scraper, gloves, and cold weather gear. You may be perfectly comfortable riding along with the heater on, but if you have a breakdown, it's going to get cold pretty quickly. Have some kitty litter or sand in the trunk. And I don't mean a 25-pound bag, but a couple of 1-gallon Ziplocs with kitty litter or sand, so that if you run into a situation where you get stuck in snow or ice, you can pour it down under the tires to get better traction. And also have some non-perishable snacks and bottled water, so that, again, if you wind up in a situation where you've broken down and you're going to be sitting there for a while, you have some sustenance there for you. It's also a good idea to, if you haven't driven for a while, just get out and do some practice driving, especially on the freeway or something like that. And when you do leave on your trip, whether it's local or longer distance, make sure you're well rested before you take off.
Mm. Those are really great thoughts. And one of the things that really comes to mind is that idea of making sure you're cozy, like you said, that don't assume you're not going to be getting out of the car. So thank you. I really appreciate those go tips. So folk have hit the road. They've got their bags packed. The tank is full. They've got those bags of kitty litter just in case. What advice do you have for on the journey?
Well, a few things. Number one, take frequent rest stops. It helps to avoid drowsiness or stiffness while you're driving. But when you do pull over, make sure you're going into a safe, well-lit area. Don't pull off on the shoulder, especially on the interstate, because that can put you at pretty serious risk. And don't try to blast through the trip nonstop. Don't try to be a road warrior. It's a good idea to get out and stretch and get some fresh air and just walk around a little bit during different times. And especially if you start to feel drowsy, pull over. Don't try to tough it out. Stay focused on your driving while you're behind the wheel. Don't text. I know we've heard this for quite some time now. Don't text and drive. Don't make phone calls unless you have some kind of hands-free capability for that. And also don't eat while you're driving, because you spill something on yourself, you're going to be looking down to see what it is, and it takes your eyes off the road. So just stay focused on the road ahead. And also be aware of other vehicles and what they're doing. They may not be as attentive as you are. So, watch for somebody who's, crossing over the line or whatever, and just kind of give them space. And then be aware of the weather and road conditions while you're driving, and adjust your driving accordingly. If it starts raining, turn on your headlights so you can be seen. Obviously, turn on your wipers. If road conditions become hazardous, slow down. It's better to arrive at your destination late than not at all. So just have an awareness of what's going on around you, both with other drivers and with the weather and road conditions.
Really great points. And we can't control other drivers, so us being attentive and being able to work around them is so important. So I know that you brought up something that is close and near to you and your team, which is getting the intel on the road conditions. How can people do that?
I am so glad you asked that, Lily. Many of you have probably heard about Alert Montgomery, and it is a free service that the county offers where you can receive information either via text or email to let you know about weather conditions, road conditions, road closures, a number of different things. And our office sends out those alerts. And even though it's not something that we want you reading those texts while you're driving, it still gives you the awareness before you head out on the road. And it's free, and it's a great way to have awareness, especially while you're driving in Montgomery County.
Thank you. And I will include the web link to Alert Montgomery in the description where people found this interview. So it will make it easy for folk to sign up. I get those alerts, and they're not overwhelming. They're to the point, and they are when you need it. And I really appreciate receiving them. So I'd have to say bravo to you and your team for helping to keep us all safe and sound all of the time.
Well, thank you for the plug. We appreciate it.
You're welcome. So we are near the end of our time together. You have provided some thorough and informative information. So before you go, any closing thoughts?
Just that this is a time of year that for joyful gatherings with family and friends. It's something that we haven't been able to do for a while, but with the increase in number of vaccinations and the easing of some of the restrictions on gatherings, we're finding that we're able to get out and get together with people. And so we just ask that you be safe and make sure that it is a joyful time for all of you.
Thank you. And I think that's the underlying thing. Whatever is the reality of why people are traveling and the circumstances, is just to remember to keep safe and in a good place, that you get there in one piece.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Jim, thank you once again. I really appreciate our time together.
Thank you, Lily.
You've been watching Engage at Home, brought to you by Montgomery County. As I mentioned, I will include in the description where you found this video the link to Alert Montgomery. And I want to remind everyone to stay calm.